guys, welcome to our podcast. I am Allie, this is
Natalie,
and we wanted to just break down current events. Like, if you guys are like us, you have a busy life, you got a lot of things going on, you don't always have a whole lot of time to dissect the news and know what's happening in the world around us. So if you do have a little bit of time, it's usually on the weekends, and you just want to have something easy to listen to, kick back, relax, and just get a quick little download. So that's basically what we want to provide. So we're just going to do that, kick back with us, have a little bit of fun. And then, eventually we want to expand it where we do more Q&A stuff. We hear from you guys, but this is our first episode of this. We've done podcasts before, but this is the first time we've done this type of style. So we're going to figure it out along the way, but I hope that you guys enjoy. So, yes. Kick back, relax, enjoy.
I'm out of date with current event type stuff. I've been, especially with just stuff going on. We were talking about this earlier. There's a lot going on, and I get overwhelmed really easily, and I feel like maybe a lot of other people overstimulated. So I actually have been trying to be off social media. So it's this is also my weekly update on what's going on, because I feel like there's a lot going on that I don't know about, and I don't want to just kind of turn off and just be a passive citizen, a passive thing. I feel like that's what they want with all of this crazy shit going on. So I'm excited to learn about what's going on from Allie, because shit's going on, I guess.
Shit is going on. Literally.
I still see stuff that'll pop up, because I still do go on social media, but I was telling her, I'm going through a breakup, so I don't all of the stuff I'm seeing is I don't know, just stuff that I don't like to see, stuff about relationships, stuff about all of this, and I just...
She needs an algorithm reset, basically.
Literally. I'm trying to as many Smosh videos as I can, just so that's all I get. That or Key and Peele.
Oh, yes.
Those I try, but then I can't help it. A post scroll comes up on my reels or something, and it's a quote, and it's what he won't, another man will, and I'm and I'm fuck, but now that's the next 30 shit I'm gonna fucking see,
Yes. I wish there was literally a reset button. Maybe there is. We just have to figure out what the hell it is.
Clear cache, maybe.
Is it? Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that on a phone, but that when you do it, you clear cache or clear the cookies.
Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to do something like that. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. So it's okay. I feel like we're all like that though. But that's why I also want to do this, because even for myself, I try and keep up, but I can't lie. If I really want to be fun and happy at work, I feel like I have to kind of try not to think about what's going on with the news and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But I do know I need to know, because what is happening is just so ridiculous, so crazy. So I'm okay, I have to find balance. So I feel on the weekends, when I actually have time to be able to digest everything, I feel why not? And then that way I'm informed, we're having a good time, and at the same time, if we do feel oh, I need to call I don't know, protest, I need to call a council person, councilman or whatever, I don't know, call your representative, you know what I mean? Then it's
speak to a representative.
Right. Something, literally
talking about my fucking phone bill. Speak to a representative. Actually, I'm just kidding. I don't call people. I'm chatting. Speak to a representative.
Period. Literally. If I could,
they would just send you to a fucking.
If I can literally
representative now on chat, they try to AI answer your shit.
They do, and then
I ain't about it. Sorry.
Amen.
She gave me a hit of weed. I don't know what's going on with me right now.
It's gonna be a good time, guys. I promise. That's why I'm get whatever you want. Get comfortable. Hang out with us, okay? All right, so let's get into it. So first of all, how was your week? How was everything? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like I told you, it's I've been going through this breakup, so I get sad every now and then, but I'm feeling a lot better, especially since I had Olympia done last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week, I think it was last week. I don't know, but I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling I'm able to snap out of that sad place a lot faster. And I think that's good, because there'll be times like like last week I was at work and I just was just like, damn, like, this is really, you were just with someone for 2 years and now it's like they were part of your life every day. And I'm like, now we're probably never going to speak again. And it's just like crazy. And I got really sad, and I was at work, and then I just had to like talk to myself, and I was able to snap back out of it fairly fast, versus I feel like, you know, a month ago, whatever, it probably really would have ruined the whole day, maybe the next few days.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling better about when I have those moments. I'm just like, I just gotta like really be honest with myself about what it was. It's like,
yeah,
you weren't really happy. So let's just, you know.
That's the thing. I think that is what, like, I feel like I understand both sides, where like you don't want to feel as though you put so much time into someone, you did see them every day for like or almost every day, or a lot for 2 years, and they're a part of your life, and then it is weird where it's like, now we don't even like talk, like we don't fuck with each other. Like, I remember like when one of my exes was like, can we like now follow each other, and it was like years later, and I was like, I guess, I mean, you know, but it is weird because like it is such a major, like, I see you all the time, but then it's kind of like I need to cut away from you. Yeah. You know? So I understand, like, it'll take a while for it to be like, okay, we're cool again. I don't mind seeing this shit. Like, I'm cool. But, I think you're doing great. And you're right. Like, the thing that you have to remember is, like, the truth is the truth. Like, that wasn't the situation for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and again, it's like, another thing that helps me is thinking that heartbreak and even love and everything is such a universal experience. So even when it has felt its hardest, because I kept remember thinking like, how has almost every single person experienced what I'm feeling right now? Like, I can't imagine, because it's like, I want to die. Like, why, how does this, so I think that really helps me in a lot of different ways too, because I'm like, almost everyone has probably dealt with, you know, everyone goes through breakups, everyone goes through a bunch of stuff, and it could be a really tough breakup, it could be an easy breakup, it's like, it's never the same, but it's still very like, it makes me almost like like hope, like you look to the future and you're like, if every single person can go through this and whatever and like be okay, then it's like, I'll be fine, you know? And I feel like that's a good thing that, at least for me, it's helped me kind of just be like, relax. Everyone goes through it. For me, it blows my mind because like, I can't imagine, but it's just like, again, one of those things that is just like universal.
Yeah. And then some people go through it like multiple times. So that's why I also
and sometimes it's way harder. Sometimes someone cheated on someone. Sometimes someone, in like crazy acts of betrayal and shit like that. And luckily that was not my, like, what happened with us, but it's like, again, it's like certain stuff like that, it's like, I can't even imagine. So again, if other people can get through it, like, that's kind of what helps me too, is just like, I'll be fine, I'll be okay. And then the Meg Stallion fucking quote where I had this picture as my screensaver for the longest time, and it was Meg Thee Stallion saying, she said, I will never let a man be my downfall. And I fucking had that as my screensaver.
I feel bad.
For a minute, because I'm like, bitch, you are too great to let some come over here and make you feel like you weren't good enough. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. I had to remind myself that a couple times.
Exactly, right?
So yes, 1,000%. So yeah.
But so I'm having a great week. How is your week?
That sounds great. I'm good. Honestly, like, overall, I'm pretty good. I really want to, honestly, I actually like my job. Like, I actually do like connecting with people and like just trying new strategies and just making money in a new way. Like, I feel as though like I'm kind of like a pioneer, like just live streaming and selling stuff online. And I don't know, I just think it's cool and different. But I will say it is like so draining.
I was gonna say, I feel like, is your social battery like drained? I feel like it has to be recharged every day.
Yes, dude.
At that point.
Yes. And I'm getting better at it. Like, so that's why I'm like also like wanting to do this, so that like my like what I'm really truly passionate
Yeah.
about can really get fueled up so that I can continue to do this.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like
we
after
gotta do
a while,
stuff to make money to pay for us to do like stuff like this. Or
exactly.
Have our better hobbies or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like what I learned from that, I can bring here and
100%,
all of that,
yeah.
you know? So I also love that too.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm getting more and more aligned.
Yeah.
And I never expected it to come in this way, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy with the direction that I'm going in. So I feel a lot more calm nowadays. Before I was feeling so anxious, like even when I first started live streaming and selling online,
Yeah, I bet.
I just still felt like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how much I can really sell.
Yeah.
I don't really know if it's really possible.
Because it sounds intimidating too. Like, what happens if you go on and like nobody's watching? Like, I feel like that's what everyone's fear would
That's
be.
what
Like,
everyone's
nobody's
fear
watching
is.
you.
But like what I learned was, if you just continue to like act as though you are talking to a room full of people, as though
Yeah.
it is a whole bunch of people in the room, like it is gonna more than likely, especially like
Yeah.
if something what you're selling like makes sense, it's a decent quality, like if it's okay quality, like, and it's a good price, people will buy it.
Yeah.
And you know, as long as you're comfortable just kind of talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And at first, yeah, it was awkward as fuck, but once I started like realizing I was making sales and it was like only like 8-9 people watching the stream, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm starting to
Yeah.
understand, like, this shit is like, you know, this is a little something.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you just start to grow on it and your confidence grows, and, you know, it just becomes a lot more easy as time goes on. You start
Yeah.
to play around with strategies. So yeah, so now I'm a lot more comfortable with it, but there are times where I'm like so bored because I'm like, I talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about, like, have something with more like depth, more of a real conversation like I would have with you, or
Yeah.
like, you know, with like anyone else that I really, really am close with.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm just like, if there's any time to start a podcast about like current events and like what the fuck is going on in the world, I feel like it's now.
Yeah.
Like it feels so right because
There's no
everything's
shortage
crazy.
of content, really, I think.
For real, but I do also feel like every time I go online, it's like the same old news sources, or like,
Yeah.
or like, honestly, I feel like a lot of people are being real. I'm trying to figure out a better word.
Sons of bitches.
Kind of like,
I
feel like they're being real bitches, but like not in the good way. Because I feel like when we say bitches, like you guys will learn,
You're our
like,
bitch.
yeah, like it's a
It's
good
a term
thing.
of endearment.
It's
yeah.
like you are solid as fuck. Like you can handle your
I had to
own.
explain that to Ava.
Yeah.
I had to explain that to my daughter. I was like, no, it's a term of endearment. Don't tell Grandma.
Sure, that went over great.
Yeah.
Sure, it went over great. And I'm sure that she'll be remembering that. She'll probably remember that when she's getting mad at you and be like, no, it's a term of endearment, Mom. That's the only thing. That's what like I would do.
Be like, okay, bitch.
I would exactly. I would shoot myself in the foot and do some shit like that and be like, okay, I want to strangle you, but I literally just set the precedent for that.
Literally. We already know. You've had conversations, or you've seen Ava stuff where it's like we both look at each other and it's like, I literally just said that 2 seconds ago. We can't really be mad right now.
What can we say? Exactly.
Or you look at her, you're like, I know exactly where the fuck you learned that from. Because I'm standing like right there. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like cussing around my dad, and he was like, where did you get such a terrible mouth? And I'm just thinking of like literally had flashbacks of like every car ride with him. Almost every conversation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you cuss all the time.
That's
and
so
you wonder
funny.
why I do. You know, things like
that's
that.
funny
So I'm
because
like,
then knowing my parents who don't cuss at all and are very, very prim and proper,
Mhm.
it's like, where did you get it from? I'm like, fucking school? The world?
yeah, badass kids.
Literally.
Because I will say, yeah, if your parents don't correct you, the kids at school will.
There's
They will
there's
fuck
no
up
win.
your
So I'd
entire
rather
innocence. Absolutely. Yeah. That's how I learned that Santa Claus wasn't real. The fucking kids at school
That's
were
so
like,
crazy.
bitch, I got something to tell you. You're never going to believe this.
I know.
And I was shook. That's for sure.
We
But
were
anyway.
never allowed to believe in Santa.
No.
No, just Jesus Christ.
My mom was
Both
like that.
equally imaginary. IMO.
We'll get we do not have enough time.
Cut that.
We can't we can't unpack that. Okay, so let's talk about Cheeto Puffs. So let's talk about
Cheeto Puffs.
the head Cheeto Puff in charge. Donald Trump. Let's talk about him. Okay.
Like, did you see the Hot Cheeto documentary too?
I do want to watch that.
It's so good. Oh, it's so good.
I bet. Okay. I gotta watch that. Anywho, we like go off on a tangent all the time. I hope that you guys can like follow. Anyway, okay. So President Trump recently decided to have like a, I guess like a State of the Union address. Basically just wanted to talk about what's going on with his presidency. And that happened on March the 4th. So he delivered a 100-minute address to a joint session of Congress outlining his administration's priorities and reflecting on recent events. And I mean, we have been seeing recent events in the headlines. Like a whole lot of shit has been coming from this administration.
Yeah.
All at once. I mean, like in the first month, we've had so many executive orders of people being deported, job layoffs, what else? Possible tariffs for Canada and Mexico. It's just one thing after another. So a lot of people feel very inundated with like a bunch of executive orders that are at once being just thrown at us.
Yeah, ambushed, really. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how else to say it, but we feel like we're being ambushed, or a lot of people do. Even honestly, even Trump's base, even his supporters are saying that they're being affected by a lot of these decisions, especially the ones that have to do with like federal funding being cut for SNAP benefits,
Didn't
Medicare,
something happen with
Medicaid,
the Veteran Affairs too? VA?
Veterans Affairs,
Something
you're right.
happened.
I
think it was layoffs or something?
They want to do a lot of layoffs for Veterans Affairs. I gotta remember, I can't remember if it was like, I can't remember what the exact number was. I want to say it was something like 20,000 employees that they want to lay off.
Mm-hmm.
But even, which is also crazy to me because I'm just like, I could see if you were cutting departments that just have like areas that are like already successful, that are already running well, that are already like,
you don't need to add
yeah,
stuff to.
exactly. So like so I'm not exactly sure, like kind of for me, like I could kind of see how maybe you would go into like, no offense, I know this is gonna really shake the room up, but like maybe even into a little bit of like our military, because like we have so much. I know crazy to say, but like there's just, if there's gonna be any piece of the pie that gets the most funding, it is our military. It is our defense. So I just felt like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Her ex-husband is in the...
He was in the National Guard. He was in the Army. My whole family was in the services, and I'm not even saying that like I really want like everyday people to lose their jobs. I'm just more so saying that like I know that with the military, a lot of with their budgeting, what they do a lot of times is overspend, so that like they don't get budget cuts just in case.
That's
do you know what I mean?
I so
like if you don't spend it, then the
you
next year
you're gonna get less or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard of I've definitely heard of that happening. Not in the military specifically, but just in like jobs that I've worked for. I've definitely heard like, if we don't find a place to spend this money, like then we're not gonna get it next year and whatever. So they will find where to put it, just so that they don't lose funding the next year. So I mean, that's definitely
right. And so like I can understand like maybe if it was like
the
active
type shit.
Yeah, sort of. Like I could kind of understand if it was like actively like we're gonna downsize some of the things that we do in the Army, but like for them to actually go for veterans, like Veterans Affairs, for like the people who are running the hospitals, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because Veterans Affairs is already in shambles. There's so many like active duty and non-active people who are in the military who are not being really that well taken care of. Like, to be honest,
well,
like
also it's like you come back with like PTSD, or you come back with an injury or some, like,
and there's only so much
life
that they can do.
So if you're if your quality of life has been, affected and changed because of serving your country, it's like, it just feels only right to take care of them.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, there is so much shit going on. I can understand some things flying by, but there is just a lot of unprecedented shit that it's unprecedented in the sense that it's happening here in the United States to our democracy. But in terms of is this the first time that we've seen this in the world? No. A lot of people saying that this feels very akin to other very radical movements
I've heard a lot about that.
The Otzi kind, you know what I mean? Ixnay
on the Ishnay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I hope I didn't say anything. I don't know.
On the Ishnay.
Fish. No, I don't know. Is that fish? Oh, I don't know. I thought I heard that in Cat in the Hat.
On the fishnay?
The
you said Ixnay on the fishnay?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're fine.
Ish fay?
Yeah, that's
how does Pig Latin work?
Well, it's supposed to be like...
You reverse it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Ixnay on the... Anywho, we are
sorry.
We are going down the wrong rabbit hole, which we're so totally known to do.
This never happens.
Never. Anywho, okay, so...
I can get it up in 15 seconds. You just gotta suck it for 30.
What is going on? We are going off the rails.
I just think that's so funny that guys do that. I can get it up. You just gotta read to me for 45 minutes about the Roman Empire.
What in the hell? Oh my god. Okay, anywho, so...
You passed the joint. I don't know.
I know, yeah, you're right. It's my fault. And you know what's crazy? It's I want to hit it again, because this is really good. This is gold. Anywho, so basically, everyone's freaking out because Elon Musk is cutting a lot of jobs. And so I think that a lot of people were interested to see if Trump was going to bring that up during the State of the Union address. Maybe let's talk about the elephant in the room. You are running around here with Elon Musk like he is vice president. And what the hell is going on, Trump wanted to talk about some of the things that had happened during his administration so far, and wanted to highlight some of
on his State of the Union
administration. Yeah, exactly. So basically the speech primarily was centered around domestic issues, with Trump highlighting economic achievements, proposing significant tax cuts, which everyone still is confused as to how he expects these tax cuts to actually be able to be plausible. I guess a lot of people are saying that really, even though he's trying to say that these are going to be tax cuts across the board, majority of it is really going to land on the middle class having to somehow pay for it. I guess they're saying that in other ways, through the tariffs, through American jobs being a little bit less desirable, because they're going to be even more, I guess yes, you can now have more American jobs. However, it's still pretty expensive to actually create stuff here in America.
Yeah.
So I still don't even know how companies are going to be able to afford to really source a lot of stuff from us here. And I don't even know if a lot of Americans want to do those jobs. So I don't know. Anyways, it's good to know that he is, I guess, still going to do the deal with Ukraine. So I guess we know that even though the conversation went bad with the president at the White House, they're still going to do the deal. So far, I guess we're going to still continue to help them with the war. That's basically what that's supposed to signify. The address was notably partisan, with Trump criticizing his predecessor, Joe Biden, and Democratic policies setting a divisive tone. And it was definitely a lot of tension in the room. There was a ton of tension in the room between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats, I'm surprised personally that they even showed up. They basically, I guess they decided to have their own type of version of a silent protest. They all brought little signs
Oh, I think I saw a picture of that.
Yeah. They brought these little signs that they were holding up that on one side said false. So I guess they were trying to fact check him in real time.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, I like that in a way. And then on the other side, it said things like, stuff like Musk steals, save Medicare, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely, you know, their way of trying to protest. Now, in the end, a lot of the members of Congress ended up actually walking out. But more notably, there was a big commotion because of Al Green's removal during the address. So Al Green is a representative, and actually he has tried to impeach the president, Donald Trump, when he was 45 before, and now when he's 47. So he's said that he wants to draft papers to impeach him. I'm not sure how far he's gotten in that, but we're all kind of like waiting for that.
I feel like if it didn't work the first time, I don't know.
Hello. I mean, I think the first time around, I'm almost certain he got impeached like 2 times, but it's still, I think it got passed in one part of Congress, but not the other. Something weird like that.
And
but even
Republicans hold the House and the Senate, right?
Exactly. So it's you know, I mean, I guess I feel like I like the symbolism of it, but I just still like,
I just like don't give up.
You know, people were definitely interested in what happened with Al Green, because he was the one who was leading the charge on the impeachment. So basically, Al Green interrupted the speech that Donald Trump was giving, and he decided to start shouting objections and pointing his cane at his stand, at Trump's, you know, in Trump's direction, basically. He was subsequently escorted out of the House of Chamber by the Sergeant at Arms. So, like, I mean, they definitely gave him some warnings. You know, they told him a few times to stop.
Yeah.
He continued to go on. I think a lot of people were surprised that he was still removed, because just, I want to say, I mean, it was like a year, maybe 2 years ago. It wasn't too long ago that Marjorie Greene Taylor stood up herself and had started yelling at then President Biden. So, so everyone was just saying that it was very interesting how Republicans decided to have a whole lot of fault, or decided to remove Al Green and hold him and his actions as,
of course,
you know, as something that was disrespectful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it was definitely supposed to be a type of protest. I think he wanted to derail this man's speech. Yeah, I get that. But honestly, even more interesting than that, because they ended up being able to remove him, basically. You know, moral of the story is the House voted to censure Green for his actions later on as well. Which, interestingly enough, 10 Democrats actually joined in on censoring Al Green. They also voted with the Republicans and agreed that Al Green should not be allowed to go back into the House.
Yeah.
I was just surprised, because I was like, really? Like,
I wonder if that at that point is more of a I almost want to say like old school type shit of just like respect in general.
I guess
you know what
so.
I mean? I feel like I've been watching all these period pieces about Game of Thrones, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like pride and honor, right? Is like
I'm sorry, that one was slow to me. It just now got to me.
You know the period piece, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like one of those things
based
where
on
it's like
true events.
You're seeing a lot right now. I'm watching House of Dragons, but it's like you're seeing a lot. This is a made up thing, but
right.
You see a lot the theme or the themality of you know, staying true to honor,
right?
And no matter what,
manners.
It's like of I also think it would be disrespectful if a Republican did this. So I would be saying, you know, so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think it's okay that Al Green did this. I would also don't think that it's okay if a Republican did this. So it's like one of those, I mean, that's what I can think of, aside from someone maybe being a little bit more conservative, but
I mean, I think that
a
that's
conservative liberal. I don't know. That's the thing. Is like
right.
I see problems with both sides for sure, Democrats and
Absolutely.
Republicans. So I don't identify with either. I do identify probably with being a lot more progressive on the progressive side, which doesn't match up with a lot of Democratic ideals either. Neither Republican nor Democrat. I think it's just a more humanity-based perspective that I have. So I can see hypocriticals on both sides. I think it's extremely hard to not be a hypocrite just as an everyday human. But I think in politics, it's so financially driven.
Yes.
That it's like, how really, I don't know. It's hard. So it's kind of like at the same time, it's like you just gotta try your best. But I can see how maybe if you have a certain view, you could be like, well, just because Al Green is a Democrat doesn't mean that I think that it was right what he did. And I wouldn't let a Republican do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I get that. Yeah, I do.
So, I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of for
why they didn't.
pretend Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, though, is that, like, so Green went back and he decided to explain his outburst. If we're gonna have an outburst, I feel like his reasoning was pretty fucking good. Okay, so he said the reason for his outburst was he has a strong opposition to the proposed cuts to Medicaid and health care for the poor. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not necessarily mad at you, especially because that is another thing that everyone wants to talk about. And I feel as though in Trump's speech, he's talking about all these tax cuts and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, those tax cuts are going to affect Medicaid, Medicare, you know, Veterans Affairs, a lot of things. Even you know, SNAP benefits and just like, you know, EBT or whatever, food stamps or whatever. That actually is going to affect a lot more than just Black people. And I feel absolutely terrible just for everyone. Like, I don't even, because I feel like at first I was like, damn, like the kids in the inner cities already got it so fucking hard. Like, you're really going to cut all these benefits for them.
Public school stuff too.
Yeah. But then I also thought about the fucking kids out in the rural fucking communities where, like,
she's from Ohio, bitch.
Bitch, I am from Ohio. And when I tell you, there is a big difference in the education that you get when you're closer to a metropolitan area and the education that you get when you're further out. Now, thankfully, I went to 2 really amazing school systems. However, had just been like, if my mom had just had us live like all of it an hour, or not even an hour, I'm sorry, a mile or 2 up the road, I could have been in a really shitty school system in the rural area. But like also just like talking to those kids, because when you go, you know, you're in high school sports or whatever, you go to other places and just seeing like how it is and like,
there's 2 teachers in 1 room.
I don't know, yeah, like, or just, like, their culture, like, them, like, seeing, like, Black kids was, like, a big deal to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know,
For me, it was seeing white kids.
Really?
there was a handful.
Well, so, yeah. So,
and I was considered one of them. Even yo hablo español.
Poquito. But, yeah. But, like, yeah, so like, you know, it's just very interesting to me because I think that people always assume like, oh, the people of color are going to be affected, and yes, they are, and that is horrible.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on that. Yeah. But I'm also like, it is going to be even bigger than that, and I also think about the communities that we really don't highlight in our society, like the people who are like disabled and the people with like mental health problems, and I'm like, they already have it so terrible. I can't even imagine. Like, I see the homeless situation in
well, you
LA.
work in downtown.
Yes,
and I work right next to you know.
And you even, you see it all the time. Oh my God, yeah. Even you're not even in downtown and you see all that shit. So like, it's everywhere,
dude.
Yes,
yeah.
And you're in a beautiful rural area, like not rural, but you're like in a beautiful like suburban. Yeah, you're in a beautiful suburban area, and that shouldn't even be happening, and it is like all the time for where you're at. So yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I gotta agree with him. I agree with Al Green's protest.
Yeah.
So, and I also feel like he was the only one who was brave enough to do it, whereas the other Dems are like, I'm holding a sign. Like, bitch, get up. Yeah. Let's stop doing this whole kumbaya bullshit.
At the same time, it's like you also, I feel like for them, they have to weigh the option of like, what's gonna get the job done realistically? Probably nothing. Probably neither. You know? But what's the way that you're probably gonna get heard or maybe other people to hear you type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that could be more of the way Al Green did it, because versus holding up a sign, which one are you more likely to hear? Are you gonna see the sign, the thing that they're talking about holding the signs, or are you gonna want to hear about what Al Green said, or the outburst, or whatever? And so it could just be a move, because realistically, when you think like there's better ways to do it, there's legal ways, there's the forms you could fill out, there's letters you can write, and it's like, is that really the way to do anything? I don't know.
Is it really? Like, I mean, there's so many lawsuits that the Dems keep doing.
Hands tied behind your back type of situation.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean,
I'm with Al's approach at this point. I feel like at some point, so I understand everyone wants to be Martin. Everyone wants to be Martin Luther King. They want to be peaceful. They want to be able to...
You're like, I'm Malcolm X, bitch.
Hello.
And it's like, if you've gone through the right channels and through the right ways of filing complaints or trying to impeach or whatever, and that stuff's not working, again, it's like things that are being messed with are you know, basic human rights. Yeah. And I think that does also deserve, you know, outrage.
Right. And, I agree.
You know, versus a sign.
Hello.
Exactly. I don't know. But again, everyone has their way of doing things.
Precisely. Everybody has their own opinion of it, but I don't know. I'm starting to feel like I am rocking with Al Green. I feel like there's some people in the Democratic Party that we thought were going to be the ones that were going to step forward and be the ones that were really going to say something. But I saw all of them just sit there and watch that happen to him. And I would have at least, to be totally honest, I'm petty as fuck. If it were me, they would have walked Al Green out, and then I would have stood up and taken his place, and I would have been on some fuck shit. But you know what? I
think very much to that at that point. Yeah, because also, like, you can either join in on whatever negative now is gonna happen to Al Green or whatever, you know, that type of thing, or you just gotta sit there, really.
Yeah, and a lot of people decided this is
because also too, it's like, then would you have been kicked out of the next ones? You have to kind of weigh what your risk should be and what it should want to be.
Yeah.
If you're just as passionate and you're also willing to, you know, take that chance of, you know, now being kicked out and not being able to go back, then go for it. Right. But if it's one of those things where it's like you would be more useful to the public in your position.
Okay.
Staying in there because these are public servants, right? Like, they're people we've elected, and it's like they do have a duty to us.
True.
So it's kind of, I feel like it has to be one of those positions where you should probably weigh if it's worth
the consequences.
Even though, again, I think human rights should always be worth fighting for human rights should always be worth whatever consequence. Right. But at the same time, this is so political. It's so beyond that, especially for them, because they have a duty to us.
Yeah.
And they can't do that if they're, you know, kicked out and shit.
True.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. You got a point. And you know what? I didn't even really think of it that way, so that's very fair. That's fair. All right. So now that we have gone through, like, the more serious parts of the speech that Trump had given to Congress, I figured, like, why not also talk about a very interesting part of a part of the speech that I just felt it was a little bit random. I feel as though he's trying to win back sympathy because a lot of people are giving Trump grief for cutting a lot of funding that's supposed to be going to like cancer research and going to like, you know, Medicaid, Medicare, that kind of stuff. And like a lot of kids and seniors rely on these things. And so I guess I feel kind of like this kid that Trump brought out was kind of just like a pawn, kind of like, I do care about kids. I brought this kid out here who had brain cancer and he survived.
Gotcha.
Like, I do care about them. So, I don't know. I thought it was just interesting because of that, but also because this kid's personality is just so interesting. I was not expecting it. So, I don't know if we'll be able to really, you know, see, a lot from this, but I figured, why not at least attempt?
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. I'm asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Here's the thing for me, his dad keeps just like picking him up over and over throughout the speech. They didn't show how many times his dad actually picked him up. When he first brought him out, he just kept picking him up.
And he's 13?
Yes. And look how tiny he is. Poor
That's
kid.
crazy.
Poor
Ava's
kid.
probably twice his size. I could not pick up Ava to save my fucking life anymore.
Poor kid. And then that's the Secret Service.
Wait, so they made
Director.
him an honorary Secret Service member?
Yes.
Did he beat cancer or he's battling cancer?
I think that he actually beat it. Like, I think he actually did, because I saw some little clips of him talking and saying that he did have cancer. He went through a lot of surgery. I think he went through like 10 surgeries or something. Yeah. But he did beat cancer. Anywho, there's other things going on in the world. Okay, so I don't know if you and I want to get straight into some true crime shit that is happening right now, real world, or if we want to tell our personal stories really quick and then wrap it up with celeb news. I mean, I guess I can tell my little story.
Okay, tell your little story.
Okay, I'm gonna tell my little story. And then we're gonna talk about Gene Hackman. Because there's no way we are ending this podcast without mentioning it. Okay. So the only thing that I had to tell you guys about is that I had a really interesting encounter with this man on the street the other day. And I was just like, I gotta be more mindful. I gotta be careful. I gotta bring like fucking pepper spray.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is gonna be so odd, and I feel like this is just wild. I want to hear. I want you guys to hear it. So, basically, I went off to lunch one day, and I went like up the street. I went to Ralph's, and I heard that this Ralph's was really ghetto. Mm-hmm. And so I was prepared for anything. You know, I was just like, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But like from what I was reading on Threads, shit gets wild in there. Like, a lot of homeless people go in there and shit gets wild. So, and I understand, like, Ralph's is stocked full of food, so
yeah,
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And
they're not allowed to chase anybody out either.
That's the thing. And I was gonna say, like, and like, what are they really gonna do?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, so I went up in there, but I really, really wanted their deli sandwich. So I went over there, and there was already someone in line. Mm-hmm. And this older man was already wrapping up his order or whatever, so this other guy was ahead of me. And so he started talking to me, and he was really, really nice. This guy was a gentleman. He was an older man. He was real chill. We were both talking about how we liked the sandwiches there. You know, old people shit. Yeah. Like, now that I'm 30, like, apparently, like, you can just start talking to strangers about the most stupidest shit, and you can just become friends for the brief moment, and that is adulthood. So anyway, so we're just chilling in line. Then he's like, well, you're so nice. I'll buy your sandwich. And I'm like, no way. Are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, thank you. And I'm like, it's not like it's a very expensive sandwich. So I'm like,
now
okay,
sleep with me. Yeah.
No. But I was like, I wasn't getting weird vibes. If I had, I would have been like, hell no.
Yeah.
But he seemed chill. So I was like, all right, cool. So, you know, he's putting his order in or whatever. And this other man walks up to me. Okay. So the other guy is preoccupied getting his order in. This other guy walks up to me. And it's a younger man, and he just like comes all up on me, and he's like all up in my face. And I haven't like really been approached like that in a very long time. Like I just feel like since I've been like very like when I was a teenager maybe, but like not as of recently.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it was like yes, because I feel like now that like because I'm in this ghetto ass grocery store, I'm already like on. You know, alert, and I just am very on alert when I'm in downtown LA, because I'm like, I don't know, one of you motherfuckers might spaz the fuck out, and I gotta get the fuck up out of here. So I just don't like when they get up on me. Like, and there's another incident where something weird like that happened, but nothing too crazy. But anyway, so he walks up on me, and he's like, what did he say? He was like, so what's up with you? Like, how you doing? He's like, you just looked so lonely.
Ew.
You look so sad. You look like you needed some company. So I needed to come over here to keep, you know, to brighten your day or some bullshit like that. Exactly. Ew. And I'm just like, I'm good. I was like, I'm good. You know, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I appreciate it, but I'm good. Thank you. And then at this point, like there's like a long line. Yeah. So I feel like maybe he was a little bit embarrassed that I was just like, no thanks. But it's like, you also jumped out here for no reason. Yeah. So he goes to the back of the line because I guess he's just started standing up there with us. Yeah. And you don't know me. I don't know you. Yeah. So he eventually walks to the back. Okay. So I'm thinking like it's done or whatever. Then the guy who's buying my sandwich is like, telling the cashier like I'm getting her sandwich, so he's like, you know, whatever she gets, put it on me or whatever. Old dude in line hears that and is like, oh really, like I wish I could get a free lunch, I wish I could get a free lunch, and da da da, and was talking about how long it was taking, and it was taking too long, and he wished that he could get that kind of treatment. And so I looked over, and I really shouldn't have, but I was just like, you're doing too much. But I just looked over, and I was like, are you really upset right now? Yeah. Because I'm getting a sandwich? Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't even know you. Yeah, are you really?
You rejected him.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. Maybe that's really what it was. But I was like, it's not that serious. I'm like, are you really that upset over a sandwich right now? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I wish somebody would buy me lunch, da da da. And he was like, you know what? You're gonna buy me lunch. You're gonna buy me lunch next time or something like that. Next time I see you, you're gonna buy me lunch. And I was like, sure. So old me probably would have been like, motherfucker, you know. But I was just like,
too many women are getting shot. Nowadays for just rejecting men. So you gotta be so careful.
You really do. And I was really thinking like, I don't even think I have my pepper spray on me right now. Like, let's just not even rile this man up. So I was like, sure. I was like, whatever you say, sure, I totally will. And actually that got him to shut the fuck up. Yeah. He actually was like, oh. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, see you later. So then, you know, I got my sandwich, I left. Old dude who bought the sandwich, really nice still. Yeah. Literally was like, here's a receipt, like, you know, because I wanted to get a fork or whatever, because he also got me a pasta or whatever. Yeah. So, you know, he was like, you know, a gentleman, he left. That was it. Yeah. He was a great guy. So then I got my fork, I went across the street, I went to the park, I ate my lunch. It was great. I then start heading back to the office. I'm waiting at the light to cross the street. Who the fuck do you think starts walking up towards me?
No, motherfucker.
The one and the same. And so I'm like, great. So I had my headphones in. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to act like I can't hear him. Yeah. Like I don't see him. I'm just going to, maybe he will just leave me alone. I start hearing him, and I think I tried to have the noise cancellation.
Is he like behind you?
So he was on the side of me. He was like on this side at first. Yeah. But like, I had turned so I could go across the street, so I couldn't really see him even really in my peripheral. But I knew he was coming up, so I was like, oh my god, like, I really hope he just leaves me alone. But I heard him before I saw him. He's like, oh, look who it is. Look at her, here she is. He was like, how was your lunch? And so I'm ignoring him, I'm ignoring him.
Does he look homeless?
That's the thing, like, he actually didn't really
You can't really tell sometimes, I think.
Yeah, like he didn't really actually look homeless for real. Like he actually looked decently clean. I think that like his clothes looked pretty clean. There was like a little bit of like something on his shirt, but nothing like crazy. He didn't have like a smell at all.
He wasn't carrying bags or anything.
No bags, nothing.
Okay.
So no, like I don't know, but I still feel like he has something mental.
Yeah.
For sure. So I'm like, so I just ignore him. And then he comes up to me and he's like, oh, so she's gonna ignore me. Oh, she's gonna ignore me, like she doesn't hear me, like she doesn't see me. And then he was like, oh, she has her headphones in. He's literally narrating everything at this point.
That's scary.
Scary as fuck, dude. And then I'm just thinking, because there's like another man nearby who's about to cross too, so I'm just like, I'm really hoping that this dude, like, if this dude starts bugging on me and I say get the fuck away from me, I really hope that like this other guy, if old dude like lunges at me, I don't know, like things that women have to think about.
I feel like you can't. But you can't. Any other person is gonna try to help you in these situations.
True. I just wanted to get the fuck away, but yeah. But I was just hoping against hope. Like, if something crazy happens, I hope other people are around and like at least see something. Yeah. But anyway, so he then starts like going around me, and because he's like, oh, she has her headphones in, so he's like, she's really gonna make me walk to the other side. He's like, you're really gonna make me walk to the other side because you can't hear me. So he goes all the way to my other side. He sees my other headphone is in, and he goes, oh.
And you're just like looking straight?
Looking straight. So then he goes all the way in front of me, right in front of me again, and he's like, so how was your lunch? Like, oh, like, you can't hear me or something? You didn't hear me say hello to you? So I take it out. And I was just like, I didn't even know what to say. The only thing I could say was, please leave me alone. Yeah. Please leave me alone. Yeah. Like, I was like, I just don't even know what you want from me. Please leave me alone. Yeah. And so I just like started walking across the street because right then the light finally changed. Yeah. I was able to walk away from him, and just thank God he just left it alone. Yeah. But I felt very nervous even walking away and having my back turned to him again. Yeah. So like even when in that situation, I was actually once I got across the street, I was like looking in the reflection of the store to make sure that whoever was behind me was not him. Yeah. And it was like someone else, but it was a man. But so I turned around and it was someone totally different. But I was just like,
he didn't cross the street with you?
I think that at first he started walking with me and then he turned around. Yeah. Yeah, because like I still heard him behind me, but then all of a sudden nothing. Yeah. So it was just so creepy, dude. It was so weird. But here's the weird thing. So this is the part where I feel like it's wild because like I couldn't have even written this. I'm almost certain this is the same man who stopped me months ago when I was outside when I guess around the fires, when the wind was really crazy. Yeah. I was downtown, I was leaving work, and I went to go pick up a pizza that I put an order in for. Yeah. So I could pick it up and then go home. I went to go get it. Some man was driving down the street in a white car. Yeah. Went past me, then came back around up the street, parked the car, ran out, walked up to me.
Oh my God, dude.
And I did have my pepper spray, thank God, that night. And so I was like, what the fuck? Because at the time...
it's the same dude? That's terrifying, dude.
I'm almost certain because the same height, around the same age, they have like the same... I can barely remember that guy's face, but I remember like a little bit. He has glasses. Same exact glasses. I remember that because they were like a unique. It was like some real Arthur shit, some real round ones, you know. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. So that he was skinny build, and I just remember how he pressed up on me, how he was aggressive about it, and it was like that whole what's up? It was just like, ugh.
That's so scary, dude.
Get away. Yes, dude, it was wild. And I remember that night telling him as well, I am not interested. Yeah. I'm not interested. I have, and then the other thing that's so sad is that you have to tell them that you have a man. Even if you say you're not interested, you don't want friends, nothing, like none of that will work. You have to say, I have a man. All of a sudden it's like, oh, you're someone else's territory. I'll back away.
They respect the other man more than they respect
the man who's not even there.
Yeah.
So that shit was just wild to me.
Man, I don't like you working in downtown LA.
I'm
already like, that shit is scary. You should not be walking around.
I love it, but at the same time, it is like fucking wild to see so many people who are just strung out all over the city.
On that note, this wasn't the story that I wanted to tell, but in the same like kind of thing as these men. So I deal at where I work. We deal with there's a lot of homeless people that try and come in, and so this one guy came in. He didn't look homeless, but the guy he was with looked homeless. He looked like he was on like a bender. He looked like Hollywood, you know, like he was white, his hair was like swooped over. He gave me like Hollywood douchebag vibes of like, I'm a director and I make all the women feel uncomfortable, or I'm a producer, or I have money and I, you know, he gave me those types of vibes. And what he was wearing too was like, he was wearing like a blazer or like a blazer cardigan type shit, and then like a white shirt, and then like black skinny jeans. So it's like he looked like he was an artist, or I don't know, something like that, right? So he comes in, and mind you, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. He comes in, and it's me and one of my coworkers, and he comes in, and I'm thinking he's homeless just because of the guy he's with. Right, because the guy he's with, and they're carrying bags, like bags of stuff. So I'm thinking like that's normally like the first thing. But he comes up, he orders a couple of things, and he has hella money, like hella money. And then he tips us $30. And then like I work at a coffee shop, so like that's a lot. That's a lot. Tips us $30, and me and my coworker, she was like, she's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he came and grabbed that shit back, right? Because you're thinking like, oh, they're probably trying to show they have money, and then they're gonna try and sneak and grab that money back or whatever. But then he was giving, because in order to like stay in there, you have to buy something and whatever. So he's sitting down, and then he comes up and orders something else, but he uses a credit card, and it works. So me and her are just kind of looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Like, wonder, because they were weird. And then he looks at my coworker, and she's asking him like if he wants a bag, because he like bought a cup too, and he goes, you're kind of cute, and she was like, I saw her. She's like thank you, and she like turned around to like get whatever, and I saw her eyes go like, and I was like, I didn't like hear it, so I'm like, I was like, wonder what the fuck he said to her, but he was. Give me so uneasy vibe, creep vibes. Like, she even mentioned to me, she's like, I would not want to see him in a dark alley. I was like, I don't even want to see him in here. I already want to run away. And
it's broad daylight.
I have very good instincts on if men are weirdos or not. Like, I feel like I can suss someone's vibe out, or if men are dangerous or not, for the most part. I feel like I have a very good sense of back the fuck away, don't engage, like stuff like that, or this guy's a little bitch, he's gonna fucking run away, you know, he's running away after he threatened me, you're a bitch, you know, so shit like that. Anyways, this guy, so then he goes outside, they go outside, and then a couple other homeless people start coming in, and again, they know in order to use the facilities, they have to buy something. So normally it's like you turn them away, but they all have money. And I see him giving them money outside so that and they're coming in, and they're like, this one bitch was in the bathroom for like 20 minutes. I had to bang her out of there and threaten to call the fucking fire department. I was like, are you okay? Are you okay in there? I'm like, does the fire department need to come help you? Bitch, get the
get off the toilet.
That's
like,
because sometimes it's like you don't know if they're doing drugs. They could be passed out in there.
Right.
So that's what
I was thinking that they were like taking a bath with the sink.
Well, so that's normally what they do. But the easier way to get them out of there is to not accuse them of doing anything. It's just like, do you need help? And not like, I'm gonna call the police if you don't come out. It's, do you need help? Yeah. Does the fire department need to come in and help you? They'll get the fuck out of there. Gotcha. So he's giving these bitches money outside, and then all of a sudden now I get 2 more coworkers, right? And my 2 other coworkers they're they're very, very young, pretty, really fucking nice girls. Ones that haven't had fuck shit, like, super shit done to them yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or, you
So
know, maybe
green.
they have, but they haven't lost their zest for life yet. And I was thinking in the beginning, too, I'm like, thank God it was the one specific girl I was working with, because she wasn't, like, afraid. I feel like if he would have said that to a couple of the other coworkers I have, they would have been like, I'm uncomfortable, I need to go to the back. And it's like, which I understand, but also, too, it's like, that early in the morning, there's only 2 of us. So it's like, you can't go to the back for the whole time. So I was glad that at least it was one of the girls who can, like, handle herself more.
Good.
But then, so I'm looking outside. We have, like, these big windows where we can see, like, the metro and stuff like that. And that's where they all like to hang out, is out there. So then all of a sudden I see them, like, they're kind of, like, there's a bunch of them, they're kind of huddled. And, like, I just see, like, one of the guys that was in here, he's just smoking. But the smoke was so, like, thick and constant. And I'm like, that's not a fucking cigarette. And I was like, that's not weed.
No,
and then I see, because he's using, like, you know the barbecue lighters? He's using one of those. And then I see he's holding a pipe. I'm like, this bitch is out there fucking smoking meth right next to the walkway. People in the metro, people fucking coming in and out. And there's a group of them, and they're passing it around. So then we have the police that, like, comes by once in a while. Actually, they check on us a lot, too, because we call them every day. So we have a couple of them that just, like, stop by for coffee and they check out. They, like, kind of clear it out. So then a cop rolls by, a couple of them scatter, and one of the guys is just continuing to smoke it. But while the cop gets them up and moves them out, it, like, doesn't really do anything, but at least gets them out of there. Then the guy comes back in. And he comes back and he's like, I just need to use the restroom. And he had bought stuff earlier, so I'm also like, and also he's scary. He is definitely scary. Gives me hella predator vibes. So I'm like, not going to
ruffle no feathers.
Argue with him.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
go ahead. You know, go ahead, use the bathroom. And then, but as I saw him walking in, one of my coworkers is there, and I was like, go to the fucking back. She's like, what? I'm like, go to the back now. And she's like, what? And I'm like, go to the back. And so she, like, goes to the back, but she's, like, looking at me from the back, like, what? And then the guy comes in, asks me, I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And then he goes in the bathroom. And then I told her, I was like, I'm not letting him fucking see you. There is no fucking way that man is going to lay fucking eyes on you. You got me so fucked up, because he is already a fucking weirdo, and she's one of the nicest people that, like, feels bad, doesn't like making people feel awkward. She's one of the ones where we talked about this. You'll take it, you'll take the awkwardness, you'll take the uncomfortability, just so that they're comfortable, or whatever. And she is, like, again, she's young, and she's beautiful, and she's just, this man, it's like he basically, it felt like he, like, would rape you with his eyes type of shit.
Jeez.
Like, have you ever had those people look at you like that?
Drill into,
That's how that dude was.
It's
and
like,
it was,
stop looking into my
if he
soul.
made me feel uncomfortable, I was like, he's not even gonna see who the fuck you are. I don't want him to think about, there's no way. Like, go to the back. So she goes to the back, but he was in there for a while, and I'm like, she needs to be on register. So I was like, okay, you could come out. So literally, I hear the bathroom door open, because it's in the nook, we can't really see it. I hear it open, and I grabbed her, turned her around, and it's just the back of her head. And he goes, thank you. He goes, you guys could deal with people smoking. I love Starbucks, and walks out. And it was just funny, because I, like, turned her, so it was just the back of her head, and I'm like, thank you, have a good day, you know. But I was like, again, it's like, men are so scary, like, and especially guys where you just get this really uneasy feeling from. It's like, always trust it. Always. Because there's times where it's like a guy has come in, and he'll be nice and whatever, and as soon as I'm like, I'm nice back, but I'm like, no, I'm sorry, like, you have to buy something. It's like, fuck you, you fucking bitch. I'm gonna fucking kill. And it's like shit like that, or whatever. I'm like, you can't ask people for money in here. I'm gonna fucking kill you, you fucking bitch. You know, all this stuff. And
that's crazy.
People flip on a fucking dime. So it's like, always be so fucking careful. Yeah. Because you also, you don't want to be rude, because you don't want someone to shoot you for fucking rejecting them. It's like, but you also don't want to be too nice, because it's like, like one of my coworkers, she's so nice, but it's like, you can't be that nice to people because now they think you want to fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you can't ask him how his day was because he's 60 years old, single, 5 feet tall. You can't do that. He thinks you want to go home with him. I'm like, oh, you remembered his name from yesterday? Bitch, he thinks you want to marry him. He has a ring in his pocket.
This is true.
You know, it's
true.
shit like that. So it's like, you just, well,
don't even smile
like,
at him. Like, honestly, you can't even, like, make eye contact.
You can't even make eye contact.
You
Sometimes you can't do anything.
No. Like, every time I'm in LA, I'm like,
Keep
don't
your eyes
look at the man that is going past you as you're crossing the street. Because all of a sudden they think that they're in some fucking rom-com. They think that it's like, ooh, you looking at me, girl?
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Forget wherever I was going. I need to come. You're like,
people
no.
don't realize that shit
Get
is
away from me.
Scary.
It is.
I have another
it is so
coworker.
unsettling being like,
dude,
pursued literally.
Yeah. I have another coworker who literally, this is like the second time it's happened, but she's had people leave stuff on her car. So she goes out to her car to go home, and there's notes, flowers, stuff, and it's like, it's so scary because it's like, you, especially like she's normally like an opener too, so it's like, when are you seeing my car here? Or like, you're watching which car I'm going to, and you're remembering that, and you're doing that. It's like, that's some creepy shit. And it's, again, it's like the nicest people, but it's like, you can also be really nice, or you can also be, you know, not nice, and you could be standoffish, and you're still gonna get shit for it regardless. True. You know what I mean?
True.
So I get called a bitch a lot at work, and I love it because I'm like, thank you fucking God. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Especially, again, like with these girls that I work with, it's like, someone has to fucking stand up. And it's like one of those things where it's like, if I were by myself, I might not feel comfortable maybe getting into confrontation or stuff, but it's like, I'm in charge, and I'm like, I'm not about to let anyone make these my little kids fucking feel this. And it's like, if I'm gonna be the bitch, then I'll be the bitch. Yeah. It's like,
amen.
And it's funny that people think that's such an insult. You're such a fucking bitch. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Someone has to stop all this fucking golden retriever energy in here. Someone has to fucking be.
Especially when it comes to, like, again,
bitch
like,
in
creeps. You're creeping. You're making people feel uncomfortable.
Dude, I tell, you know, me and my other girlfriend were talking about it, and we were talking about how you literally, after a certain point, you have to realize that you being so friendly to random people can really, really put you in very unsafe situations, and the people that you're with. So, like, if you're with a group of women or something, and all the other women are being standoffish to some random man trying to hit on y'all or something, and you're being the one person who's like, oh, well, I mean, it's like, you are making it unsafe for everybody else because you don't know what his intention is. You don't know if he's, like, trying to lure y'all somewhere. Just, like, don't make it weird for everyone else. Like, I know you might feel as though you want to be nice and manners and blah-de-blah.
You can be nice, but without, like,
you gotta cut it short after a while.
You need to have, I always feel like this, but it's like you, and I think, again, it's something you learn as you get older.
Yes.
I think you have to learn, you can be nice, but you also need to respect you, like, you need to have boundaries.
Yes.
And when someone crosses those boundaries, it's okay to stand up for yourself.
Okay, so alright, so we're done with our little stories. So let's talk about this crazy, the crazy news that, that's been coming out about Gene Hackman's passing. So it's really weird. Okay, this is like a full-on true crime story. It's just developing still. So basically what happened was, the actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found deceased at their Santa Fe, New Mexico home. So Hackman was pretty elderly. Okay, so I mean, I think that it wasn't necessarily a shock that he had passed away so much as it was like really a shock that his wife, who was kind of like 30 years his junior or his younger,
didn't their dog die too or something?
Yes, dude, it's so weird. So basically they're saying that Hackman was 94 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
He didn't look it,
94.
or maybe in the picture I saw it could have been from.
I feel like
ago.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like he hasn't been in
94
in the spotlight for a while.
Did you hear they said that we're probably gonna live to like 120?
Hey,
I
dude.
hope to God not.
My grandmother is like 101. And I honestly, I kind of agree with you now. Because at first I was like, how awesome would it be to live to 100? But honestly, she's so fucking bored. She's so just like over everything. She's like...
Look at my grandpa. I'm like, if dementia runs in my family, bitch, you got me fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way.
And then that too. Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to live.
You're right.
Maybe
You're right.
Not even past 60, really.
I feel like if I hit my 90s, man, like I have really, like, that's good enough for me.
Oh my God.
That's good enough for me. But,
my ex one time was saying, because with my health issues, he's like, no, you're going to live till 100. I was like, I don't even want that.
You're like, don't
God,
don't even wish that upon me.
Worst case scenario. What?
You know, a lot of people tell me that because I literally asked like all of my friends, because when my grandmother turned 100, I was like, I'm curious. I thought all my friends would be like, yeah, let's live to 100 together. Everyone was like, fuck no. My siblings especially were like, no thanks. I was like, wow, guys.
I made this
joke. At least I'm not the only one who's not having the best time ever.
Yeah, no, I made this joke to one of my coworkers, and it was about, because I just turned 30, and so it was like something, I forgot what they said, but I was just like, yeah, I was like, well, if my 30s were anything like my 20s, I'm not making it to 40. And they were like,
Jesus.
Natalie, don't say that.
Don't even joke.
I was like,
that.
I'm joking, but like really not. But, like, get over it. I don't know. I'm not taking you with me. Like, relax. You know?
Chill out.
We're both still working here when I turn 40, bitch. Maybe I will take us both then.
Just end it all for everybody.
Literally.
No, we're
all going.
We're kidding.
Sorry.
We're kidding. But no, okay. So, anywho, back to Hackman. So, basically, it's just very weird because what they're saying is the gardener or somebody who works on the grounds came to the property looking for Hackman and his wife because they hadn't seen them for like 2 weeks. So they said that like a lot of times when they come up to do the landscaping or whatever to the house, Gene would come out and talk, and I guess like they were all pretty friendly. Yeah. So they said that it was very weird that
they hadn't seen
in
them.
2 weeks, they had been taking care of the house. No one had come out. Nothing. Mm-hmm. They didn't see any movement. Yeah. So they're like, what is going on? So after a while, I guess also, around 2 weeks. I guess most places, every 2 weeks you get paid. No.
Oh.
Every 2 weeks you probably get paid.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm also kind of wondering if it was like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Where you at? I'm at the front door.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm just guessing. But I'm just, So anyway, so he goes, so the worker goes up to the door and no one's answering. So he starts walking around the property because he's pretty, familiar with the area. And he's looking through the windows and stuff, trying to see what's going on. And he said he sees bodies in there. He just sees them laid the fuck out. Mm-hmm. So he calls 911. He's telling them, they keep being like, well, what's the problem? And he's like, they're on the ground. Yeah. They're not moving. I haven't talked to them for 2 weeks. I have no clue what's going on. Like, you need to send somebody. Yeah. So finally, they show up, and now they're trying to investigate what happened to the couple. From what they understand, it does not look like there was a forced entry. It doesn't look like there was any type of a struggle so far. And so they're also kind of like, maybe it was somebody who was familiar with them, who was there.
They think it's like foul play?
They do. Because so Hackman, I think when this all first dropped, I think that people were like, well, Hackman is 94 years old. So him passing away
would have been
made sense.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. What's weird is they found Gene in the kitchen by himself. They found his wife in like the bathroom that was like, I guess, in the master bedroom.
Okay.
And she was like, I guess, like laid out in front of a space heater.
Okay.
And, like, I guess supposedly, like, some pills were, like, on the ground as well. Like, maybe she fell over and they fell out of her hand or something.
Yeah.
And then the weird thing is, the even weirder thing out of that is that the dog was found in the closet dead.
Oh,
and then, but
it was locked in there or something, right?
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, we're not really sure. Like, I don't know if he was, like, in a cage or if he was just, like, the dog got stuck in there, or if like
I heard something
someone
about a
literally
crate or something.
put a I'm not sure either. I really don't know. I gotta look more into it. But somehow one dog died in the closet, but the other two dogs
I heard that
were in other areas of the house and they lived.
Yeah, because they probably were able to find stuff to eat, maybe, and the other dog couldn't get out of whatever.
That's
it was
what I was.
in. That's what I thought too. Yeah,
I was kind of wondering that as well.
That was like the only thing I saw, because I remember when I saw the headline that they died, and then it was like, oh, that's weird, but I didn't like read anything, and then it was like, oh, and their dog died, and then I was like, oh, that's weird. So both of them and their dog. I'm like, that's weird. And then I remember reading something about the dogs, and then I remember it saying something like that. So that's why I was
weird.
Like, oh, I was like, it would make sense if one of the dogs was in a crate, why that one would die,
right? Or
like locked somewhere.
Exactly, I thought that too.
Because
I was like,
then the other two being out might have possibly been able to find food somewhere or whatever to be able to stay alive a little bit longer.
That's what I was wondering too. So I don't know. Most people are just like trying to figure out what happened to Betsy for real. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of leaning towards the side of like, more than likely Gene passed away from natural causes, but Betsy
she maybe killed herself after.
Yeah, people are not sure exactly. So like that's one of the theories. One of the theories is that like they think that like she saw that Gene passed away in the kitchen. She was so distraught. She went to the bathroom, took some pills. Allegedly, I don't know, because other people are kind of like, well, I mean, you already knew that Gene was much older than you, and guys, like, I'm not even talking about like a few years older. Like, there's a 30-year gap between them. So Gene was like 94. I believe his wife was in her 60s. I just can't remember the exact age. I gotta double check again. I forgot to put it in my notes, but like, they've
been married since 1991.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. So they've been together for a very, very long time. But yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, you've been with him for years. I mean,
I could see,
you know, he's gonna more than likely pass before you.
But I can see, I'm a very emotional person, so I could see how if someone really close, especially it's like if that's, you know, who you're with all the time, it's like if they die, I'm like, all right. I've said this a lot, and I've been very open about it. Something happens to Ava, I'm fucking done. You got me fucked.
I hear that from every single parent.
I mean, like, I could see, you know, if I didn't have Ava and all I had was, you know, my man, and then we were together for so long and then he dies, I'd be like, all right, well, I don't know. But only based on, I feel like, my view on life already right now. Where it's like, not the best, but I'm chilling. If it gets worse, there's no way. You know what I mean? It's just no way.
Right, like,
and
seriously.
So, I mean, in that perspective, I could see, you know, like, all right, it's time to go.
Yeah, so basically, so the other theory, though, was that there was carbon monoxide poisoning. Like, you know, that like maybe something happened, they couldn't smell the gas, and they just died.
But
the dog also died, maybe? Or something.
I maybe think that, like, maybe the space heater in the bathroom, if the door's closed, type. Maybe if there's no ventilation, but I can't see a whole house, especially their house was probably big.
Right.
I can't see a whole house filling up with some type of.
It has
were the other two dogs in the house?
I believe so. I believe so. So that's why I also, when I heard that theory, you know, I also kind of doubted it as well, because I was like, well, then why weren't the other two dogs affected by the gas then, if it was so deadly?
I wonder if maybe there was a doggy door type situation too.
But then here's the other thing, though. So authorities did just do, you know, a test for carbon monoxide poisoning. Negative. it was not that.
Okay.
So
theory
far
goes out the window.
we still don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
far we still have no idea.
Also, yeah, I guess still could be foul play too.
Still could be. It still could be weird. Maybe it was a shakedown. I don't know. Like somebody was saying that like maybe they were trying to get Betsy to decompose sooner. That's why, like, faster.
That's why the heater was on?
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, but maybe it's just cold and she...
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'd be cold all the time.
But it's also New Mexico. That's the New Mexico.
Yeah, but
Just kidding. I have no idea.
Well, I was thinking, like, I know my friends who are in, like, Arizona get really cold this time.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything.
Because I used to think that, too. I used to think, like, it's always hot. Because they say it is, like, 100-something degrees all the time there. But that's actually, like, you know, in the winter...
It gets hot and it gets
really cold, freezing cold at night. So I guess, I mean, maybe she was, you know, using the space heater for her bedroom, you know, or her bathroom or whatever to stay a little bit warm. But... I don't know. It's still very weird. They're still trying to figure out what happened, but I just had to mention that because me and her really love our true crime, and it's really tragic. So, first of all, you know, our thoughts and prayers with Gene Hackman's family and his friends. I really do hope that we figure out what happens. Yeah. But I can't lie. It is like one of those weird, it just a weird mystery where you just want to kind of figure it out, like. Because it's just too strange. Yeah. So, I'll be following it. I'll let you guys know. It's
the dog that does it, really, I think. Well, I mean...
it's the dog for you.
No.
For me, it's a 6-year-old dog.
It's everybody. It's everybody dying for me.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, you know, we had some more celebrity BS that we wanted to talk about. But you know what? We're going to leave it for next time. I'm sure some more crap is going to brew up and then, you know, from here until next week. I'm absolutely sure. So don't worry, we'll be bringing that to you guys next time. It is just some goofy drama, you know, Alabama Barker and Bad Baby. So if you guys want to, you know,
my 2 favorite
hear about
artists.
that, I know. Seriously, I mean, like, come on, Grammys, get it right for once.
Fucking hit your bitch with my socks. It's a big black.
Hey, seriously, I forgot that she was a rapper, and apparently she like decided to just like dust off the mic and get back in the booth. So yeah, I wanted to have Natalie listen to both and see which one was the better song. So we'll discuss that on the next episode. You know, so if you want to enrich yourself with some true culture, you know, join us next time on the next episode. Okay, guys. All right. So
maybe we'll have a name by then.
Yeah, hopefully we will. But in the meantime, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, and we will see you guys on the next one. Yeah, we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye, guys.